Okay, Plumas Lake Golf Course. This is the course I play the most. This is why the vlog has gotten uninteresting, because I play here a lot. First hole is like a 400 plus hole. It's real straight. Don't go left, you will die. Right takes you in another fairway. Hit a decent drive. Hit a really good 7-iron. The wind was in my face, so I'm not the longest hitter in general, but I had to use everything to get this on in 2 strokes right there. Also, every hole protected by 2 bunkers pretty much. Really hard hole, typically a bogey or double bogey hole for me. Sneak out with a par, really good. Second hole is, can you hit a slice on command? My trick has been slowing down my swing, which makes the ball go right. Still haven't mastered it, but this is why this course is making me better. Once again, I had to hit a cut on command, which was more of a straight shot. In my head, I thought that was a cut. On this second hole, play about 20 yards short because this downslope will run your ball in. The wind was in my face, which kind of hurt it, and I also took too little club. But that's a hole where you really want to run the ball into the green. The third hole is kind of notoriously really, really hard, and you'll see that right here. I won't document it that well, but this is one of the first creeks that you have to hit over. When the pin is in the back left-hand corner, you have 2 bunkers uphill, and I just missed to the right on this hole, and it ran off the green because it's a turtleback green. So very, very tricky hole in which you have to be extremely accurate. Left with the bogue, and it's something that when you're playing this, you have to be very, very cautious of distance gauging. Don't judge my swing. I'm pulling up, guys. Be sure to tell me like some advice on that, to not look up and hit bad shots. I got a good enough hand coordination where when I'm looking up, I'm able to make contact. That 5-iron turned the corner. Hole number 4, it's a blind shot that requires a right to left ball flight. You're definitely going to want to have a wedge into your hand because this is a trickier green, and you have to hit over another creek. I typically try to hit a 7-wood, but I can hit into the creek with a 7-wood. Take a club that goes about 200 yards to be safe because that downslope can run you really far. Didn't convert for birdie, but pretty tricky hole. It's a gettable hole, but it's also tricky. This par 5, the 5th, really, really fun hole. Lately, I used to miss out left because I come over the top and do crazy things. Lately, I've been taking aim at the cart path to get extra yardage and have a better angle at the green. Hit driver 7-wood, and that was a little thin, but it was doable, and it actually went over the green, which was kind of a bummer. It was also a little downwind, but it was a bummer that a thin 7-wood wouldn't just run up there. That chip was pretty far back, and it's really hard to stop it on this green because there's a huge amount of slope. If it's all the way in the back of the pin, it's very, very difficult because there's a major back slope that I didn't document, but that was a really, really good chip. I thought that was going to break right to left. I guess I probably putted through the break. Be aware, and also the slope, if you pitch it back, it'll come back, and if you see that it went a little left to right on the coming back putt for par. This is a super fun hole. For a while I didn't know how to play this hole. Now I feel like I do. From the blue tees, I just take driver, bang it over this creek. It's about 240 to carry downhill, typically downwind. Didn't give myself a great shot in on this day where I had to kind of pitch one around some trees. Probably should have taken the airmail approach, but it still didn't matter too much because I gave myself a very doable chip, which I converted for a par, which you'll see right here. It's a very, very fun hole that I think a lot of different players can play a lot of different ways. You can lay up, you can go over the creek. It's definitely a risk-reward hero shot that's really fun to play on courses. Hole 7, really, really hard hole. If you miss left like me because of bad alignment, this hole can be really, really tough because you can actually hit into that orchard. Once again, I credit Plumas Lake with a lot of my improvements to ball striking, creating shots, and chipping because these chips are not your typical Muni up and downs. I really like the 8th hole because I typically can swing out of my boots with my 3-wood, but I've been having 3-wood confidence issues because of my Paradise Valley where I top 2 3-woods, which is uncommon. Top that 5-iron, but we just had to turn the corner. It's always embarrassing when you vlog and you have 238 yards on a 420-yard par 4. It's like, do you want to have really good golfers giggle at you? We'll do stuff like that. New sand wedge got from Kepler's into the wind. I think it flew at about a buck 07. 54-degree wedge. It's a new TaylorMade MG grind. Really, really nice club. Loved it. Controlled the ball flight. And this is something you won't see. Really made me feel good. After that terrible 3-wood, after the terrible approach, up and down from 100 yards, made par, Lego. Number 9, really, really tricky hole. There's a tree in the middle of the fairway, which is always annoying because I don't hit the ball very high. This course has really focused me to dial in on wedges or figure out new ways to hit wedges. I think my tempo is better with wedges. So that was a good shot, I thought, but into the wind. Didn't control the spin, and this is one of the tougher greens on the course. There's 2 tiers, and if it's in the back tier, it's really a hard pin location because if you go over, the chip is not simple. It actually slopes, and I actually 3-putted that one. You want to hope for a front tier green on that one because it's just better. Hole 10, there's a creek all down your right-hand side. There's a creek in front of the uphill climb to the hole. I typically miss out here because I aim my feet all crazy, and I think the tee box kind of aims all left. Hit a 6-iron. I really think that would have been on the green, but see, here's the problem. So the tough part about this golf course is trees, and I don't hit the ball very high, so that hit a tree, bounced back, hit a really good lob wedge right there, but I just hit it a little too hard. One thing to know about this hole, if the pin's in the back location, you want to get it all the way back. I was thinking to myself, I'd rather have that chip than a putt from the front of the green, and what do you know, I chipped in. This is that money 3-wood. Lukie in the cut with a 3-wood is definitely a scary sight. Tried to turn the corner. I always think I can from the tee box. I never can. I wish they mowed this part of the grass as fairway because that's the line visually when I'm on that tee box I always want to hit to. Got kind of a bad lie from where I landed in the rough. It was in a divot. I just played it from it just for the heck of it. Came up short, had a tight lie, tried to flop it. Probably not a great decision. Ended up with a bogey. Those next, like 11, 12, and 13 are some of the hardest holes. 12 is like a par 5 for most people, but it's par 4 from my tee box, and it really is a par 4. I've had 150 and 160 and even 135 in. Just requires a good drive, and I'm a terrible driver. So what do you see? I had a 7-iron, then I had to shape, kind of snap hooked it. Then I had to pitch it under a tree, didn't do that well. And then for my par shot, I'm chipping around the green. Luckily, I was able to save this with a bogey putt, but it's a very, very deflating hole if you don't hit a good drive. The 12th hole is about a 215-yard shot that I haven't quite mastered. I'm trying to get a 5-iron there. I'm just not talented enough to hit a 5-iron that far, and my 7-wood typically goes a little further than I want. Fluffed a chip and then put it right close to the cup, so I made bogey. So that's a slew of 3 bogeys after some pretty good golf, and that's like what Plumas Lake will do. There's these quadrants of 3 holes where you just have to play serviceable golf. I really, really like the 14th hole. There's a urban legend that Ben Hogan had never gotten above like a bogey on a hole at Pinehurst number 2. I always want to like start an urban legend that I had never bogeyed this hole. I have bogeyed it, but I absolutely love it because you just have to hit a good tee shot, and then sometimes if I miss out left on this hole, it plays perfect for a draw. And on this day, a well-earned birdie. Just great number, great yardage. Got it out there. 15 is a hole that's very gettable for me. It's a short par 5. It's about 480, 490, typically downwind, and there's a speed slot where you can catch a downhill. Driver, caught a 7-wood fat, came up a little short, and then that pitch, I just love the tempo. I've been really, really trying to work on that. I know some people probably have sticks and stuff, and they work on balance and all that technical stuff, but I thought that was pretty money, and back-to-back birdies, you don't see that very much on the Lukie vlog, so let's go me. 16, really, really hard hole for me. I typically always hit it over this green. I don't know what it is. It says it's 150. I hit a 9-iron, and I typically land hard because my trajectory is low. There's a tree in front of the green, and on this day, I looked like a stud because I got up and down from that 17 tee box. FYI, if there's people on this tee box and they're playing blue tees, don't hit always on that hole because you can hit into them. I didn't film my second shot because it was blocked out to the right, and I thought I filmed it, and I didn't. This is my birdie shot, my third shot, which is a chip across the green. And I thought I did really good with it, to be honest with you. These greens, what makes me play this course so much are the greens here are in fantastic shape. And even though some of the holes, you have to work on shot shaping, and the greens are quality. So, I mean, I think that that's the redeeming qualities. Hit this 7-wood. At the time, I thought I hit it well. Watching back, I caught it a little thin. I'm really going to have to sit down on these fairway woods because if I lose my confidence in that, that's not going to be good. This 18th hole is over a creek, and it's a dog leg left, so you have to shape the shot. Thankfully, the wind was in my face, so that didn't go as far as it could have and been blocked out by a tree. Hit a good sand wedge up there, and then I tried to finish you guys out with a birdie, but I didn't. Plumas Lake, really, really fun golf course. I really like it. I really enjoy it. The vibe is pretty chill. They got good food. Tell them I sent you. Be nice to have these guys like me and stuff.